a bit burdened this week, I think. The center card is the High Priestess, and I see this as kind of holding your tongue for the moment, maybe while you gather some more information with the Swords energy. And there's an energy here of like a slow pace as well. Time being needed. You may be trying to learn something. Education could be your focus as well for some of you. Otherwise, there's maybe knowledge that you acquired. But again, I feel like you're keeping it to yourself for the time being, and you may be just kind of seeing a situation through with the High Priestess here. Now, on the general side, we have the Ace of Cups and the Page of Swords. With the Nine of Wands here is the outcome card. So by the end of it, you're tired. You feel like you may have put up too much of a fight, or you're just exhausted. And it has some relation to do with information that's come your way that's brought up a lot of emotions. So a lot of this like weariness that you have could be due to an overflow of emotions that you can't control for the time being with the Ace of Cups energy. Like the Ace of Cups, I've said it in like so many videos, it's my least favorite ace because I for the most part, every time I get it, it's just like, it's that overwhelming feelings. And it could depend, you know, whatever's around. If there's happy cards, then more than likely it's a overflow of joy. But I don't like the Nine of Wands being here, because the Nine of Wands, he's like using something here for support because he feels like he needs that support in order to get back up again. Now, on the love side, we have Death and the Seven of Swords with the Knight of Coins as the outcome card. So you could be hiding the fact that a situation has ended, or you're intending on ending a relationship possibly. Maybe you're just thinking about it and kind of heading towards it, but keeping it hush-hush for now. And your partner may know this, and maybe something that you've discussed with them. It could be other people around you that don't have any idea. Or, of course, it could be your partner, but it could be either way. This could also be just feeling like there's something going on behind the scenes and you want to know what's going on. With Death and the High Priestess here, there's this vibe that you might have some feeling, some intuitive feeling of what's going on. Now, the Knight of Coins, for some of you, could be serving another person, divorce papers. For others, it could be just this process being very slow and just taking your time with it, not rushing an ending or not rushing revealing what you know, something like that. It could also be for some that this is a person that's coming towards you, but you may not be ready. I mean, the Death and the Seven of Swords indicates that now's not the right time, or something else you got to do, you're just not feeling it, and you really want to go again at a slow pace. So if someone does approach you, maybe you just need to push it off for a little bit longer. All right, clarification for the High Priestess, please. We have the Ten of Wands and Justice, and here's this energy again of feeling like you have a load to take care of. So much is resting on your back, and it feels like it's your responsibility to make a decision. And maybe some of you are holding on to a decision right now, and that it carries a big weight for you. I think the High Priestess is being passive because they know what they're going to do, but there's this energy here of like not revealing that yet for whatever reason. All right, let's get one. What's that card? Three of Swords wants to flop out here. So, I mean, there's some level of hurt and pain that does exist. I think that you're slowly moving past it, though. General, can I get one card? King of Cups. Now, in some ways, that could be you and this overexpression of emotion that's coming through. I think the King of Cups it does have the ability to control that, but I feel like there's that loss of control that's happening with this king. This could also be what the situation is about, another person. And you may be thinking about them, and this could just be you as well, taking a time out and figuring out your own energy, your feelings, and even just with what you now know with the Page of Swords of what you've learned, figuring what to do next. And there's this energy with that Nine of Wands, like, I can't take anymore. I'm too tired. Let's get love, please. Love, we have the Six of Coins. More coins energy with the clarification, which again, I think that love is something that you're pursuing slowly. And you're definitely being careful about love as well. as single or in a relationship. If you're single, it's kind of like, you're not rushing into anything. You're trying to find out, or at least get a good feeling for what the other person is like before you really decide to, pursue anything further with anyone. Making sure things feel balanced, that they have a fair energy, so it's not like you're giving someone too much or vice versa. And we also have the Knight of Swords. And I see this with the Pentacles energy, Death, and the Seven of Swords as, again, taking your time before you make any sort of communication. Now, there's an energy here of maybe wanting to be very abrupt or just blunt with another person in love. But I think that that's kind of being held back a little because I get this energy of you not wanting to push it, whatever that means. Like, you don't really want to get angry, even though there's an energy here of being upset. It's not my angry cards. I mean, Death and Seven of Swords are not great, but they're not necessarily my angry cards. But I feel that with the Knight of Swords in this case. Like, wanting to rush in and speak your mind, but for the most part, just kind of taking it piece by piece. There is the possibility, though, especially for those of you that are single, of someone reaching out, putting forth the effort, and wanting to connect, maybe set up an actual date this week. In which case, I think that I feel like you'll go, but you won't necessarily, you don't really have that excitement over it. It's just like you're going to do it to see what it is, but you're kind of not on guard so much, as you don't really have any emotions tied to it. And it could, of course, be you, because that other court card here, the outcome card, is the King of Chalices, or the King of Cups. Anyway, let's go to the main cards. Let's see. We have the World here as the center. And for me, this is about bringing something to a conclusion. That could be anything, of course, in your life, major or minor. Whatever the case is, the focus is on bringing things to conclusions, wrapping them up, maybe progressing to the next stage, or seeing or thinking about what's next for yourself. There could be some sort of graduation of sorts moving forward in some way, but it's usually more often than not a positive thing, something that makes you feel good, feel like you've learned something important. World. Now, the general side, we have the King of Wands and the Moon with the King of Chalices as the outcome card, and that's where I mentioned the court cards coming through, and here they are. So you have the energy of the Moon surrounding the court cards. And for me, it says that your involvement with others is still a bit like iffy. You don't necessarily understand what this other particular person is thinking, what they're doing. You could find yourself like mystified, confused, trying to figure it out. It may seem like this person is keeping themselves under wraps, or they could be hiding something, and you could be feeling that sense of intuition that tells you that's the case. But that's all that seems to be coming through, where there is this sense of mystery from this person that you can't quite comprehend. And it could be what they do, because I see the King of Wands as someone more geared towards action, taking steps forward, initiative, and it could be that what they're doing, you're like, why are they doing this? It could be what they're saying as well, but I feel like for the most part, it's like, why are they doing these things? This doesn't make sense to me. We'll see what the clarification cards say. Now, on the love side, we have the Wheel and the Five of Pentacles with the High Priestess here. And I don't like this Five of Pentacles. For the most part, don't like the Five of Pentacles. But here, you got this poor guy. He's trying to find shelter amongst the storm. So it feels like, emotionally speaking, you've got a lot going on, and you're trying to basically maintain yourself, keep yourself together, keep yourself from getting like hit by any storms. So they could be arguments happening in your relationship, if you're coupled, and you could be kind of trying to just keep out of it, even though like the air, the energy is very hostile. You're trying to find somewhere that's just safe for you. Just be by yourself, maybe figure things out on your own time. You do feel like, as this guy, he feels like, you know, he has nowhere to go at this point. If he does, he's going to get wet. He's going to like have to potentially run to find some other place to feel safe and comfortable in. So you don't feel like, for the most part, your partner is there for you this week for whatever reason. Maybe that they're a bit absent or not being as responsive as normal. Maybe they're busy on their end, but they're not communicating that with you. So you're just left feeling this way out in the cold. Now, if you're single, and I don't know why I'm pulling this energy amongst the two majors, but if you're single, it does feel with this Five of Pentacles that you're having trouble connecting. And it's not that you're not potentially meeting people or, you know, having those conversations, maybe even having those dates, but something doesn't seem to be clicking. And it feels like even if you're with another person and you're meeting up with them, it feels like you're there alone, or you'd rather be there alone, and you kind of just do not want to bother with whomever you're encountering. But the connection feels to be absent this week with that energy. And I think with the wheel beforehand is that you want some sort of major shift. This is what you're hoping for, because right now you feel like maybe you keep putting yourself out there. Maybe you, again, do keep meeting people and nothing changes, but this is what you want. You want things to shift dramatically and to feel like, you know, you've met someone and you feel lucky to meet them. That's the energy that you want. That's coming through for me anyway. If you're coupled with the Wheel of Fortune, this actually goes back to that feeling I had where it feels as though this week in particular, for some reason unknown for the time being, that there is that just shift in your partner's energy. And that shift has made you feel a bit alone here, not knowing exactly what your partner is going through and what's on their mind. Because again, he's by himself. And even the High Priestess as the outcome card here when it comes to love, she's pretty solitary. She's not really taking, you know, much initiative. She's kind of stand back, learning, observing, and not putting, I would say not putting direct effort into love for the time being. So you're choosing to just kind of take this week off, maybe for yourself. You don't want to push your partner if you're coupled. And if you keep encountering lemons, or you haven't encountered anybody as a single person, then this is just you deciding, you know what, maybe this weekend I'm just going to lay low. I'm going to read some books. I'm going to do anything, watch some mystery. She's a mysterious energy. And that's that. So it could be that type of energy. All right, let's get a clarification card for the world, please. The Page of Swords. So you could be learning something that ends up being quite big in the sense that it changes things for you. It's like, oh, I didn't know this was the case. And now, okay, this can end, this can close out, we can wrap this up. It could be a minor project, something like that. It could be something much more major, but more than likely the ability to close that out comes through communication and just learning something either from another person or through your own methods. So through your own inquisitive nature. Let's get a clarification card for the general side. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this actually adds a possibility. Well, one way I see this is that you have to make a choice surrounding a person here. But you, with the Two of Wands and the Moon being associated, I feel like you're not really confident in that direction. And if you're not making a choice about a person, you could be like, maybe you need to respond to them, say whether or not you agree or disagree, something of that nature. It's actually still kind of falls under a choice. And you need more time. You need to sleep on it, because the moon as well for me represents that dark night energy. Let me, take a nap over the weekend or overnight. I'll come back with a response, but it may take some time. Some of you could be deciding between two after all, with the King of Chalices and the King of Wands. But I do think for the most part, you just have to make a choice regarding one particular person. What is the choice about? Oh, and I was going to pick another card, and these two fell out with the King of Rods on top. So look, a good friend. So you're making a choice about taking some sort of initiative towards the King of Rods. And it could also be that this King of Rods has something that they want to do. Maybe they want to involve you and they've given you the opportunity, and you're deciding whether or not you want to join up with them or do a particular thing. Maybe they've asked you to do something specific and you're not sure yet. So in this case, it does give the impression that you do lean towards working with someone. Magician is a bit of a positive yes energy. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I know that I can. King of Rods is promoting that. I think that this is the card I was going to pick, the Knight of Swords. I feel like the King of Rods too can be a very aggressive energy, not necessarily like in an intimidating way, but they could be, I don't want to say in your face, but very energetic, coming towards you. They kind of want you to have a response right away because they're very excited. They got ideas, and they're more than ideas. They want to start actually getting engaged in them. And so Knight of Swords represents that there's quite a bit of communication as well between you and another. It's straightforward energy too, and things feel like it's moving quickly. So why is the Moon here? Oh my God. The Moon is here because of the King of Cups. My voice just went all funny. You've got some... I'm going to say that I think that the King of Cups is aligning more with your emotions coming to the forefront. The Moon is also a very watery energy. There's emotions there. It's usually underneath the surface, and you may not even be completely understanding them because the Moon is an illusion card. You're having trouble like sorting out your feelings. So strange. Okay, let's see. Why? Because of the Hierophant. Something about the situation could break the rules or be non-traditional, and maybe you don't know how you feel about that. That's what I'm getting from this. Some of you in some cases here, maybe this also attributes to love. Excuse me. The Moon in this particular deck is one of my more romantic ones. She does hold a bouquet. She has quite a beautiful energy about her. I didn't get that initially, but there is a possibility that this ties back to love for some of you, where that is your central focus. And you could have your doubts about someone's status, or someone here has a commitment where there's mixed feelings about that commitment. Doesn't even have to be love. There's mixed feelings about committing to something anyway, which again made me feel like saying this Two of Wands doesn't feel like they're really hanging on to that wand and saying this is it. Usually I say that, and even with the Magician, I do want to say, but the Moon keeps pulling me back as if there's something going on behind the scenes that makes you question what you want to do. All right. That got mysterious. It's good that we have the High Priestess here on the love side. Okay, so let's get one for love. Queen of Swords. We got some cold energy when it comes to love, like not the cards that you want to see for connecting with someone, being romantic, being sexual, or anything like that. There could definitely be conversations, but they feel serious. They feel like it's about getting straight to the point. If you're a female, that could be you just like cutting to the bone and telling it like it is, even if that means you're going to be alone for the week. And it doesn't mean like you're breaking up or anything like that, but you could just be straight up with someone, and it results on this cold energy between you and a partner, for instance. If you're single, then I just think that you will more than likely be very direct with others, even if that means this weekend you aren't engaging with anyone whatsoever. It's just like, I'm fine with being with myself. Yes, it sucks a bit because I'd rather have someone there with me, but at the same time, you're not taking any nonsense. And you're not backing down from like your preferences or your requirements, if you have any. Why is the Five of Pentacles here? Oh, yeah, so that adds the fact that there is some sadness and loneliness of not connecting, being separated. And as a single, maybe you like want to make plans and do something fun with a romantic partner, and it's not quite happening this week. Because of the follow-up cards, I feel as though that shift in communication leads to the isolation. So again, I think that things have changed dramatically this week. Like even if you were single, but you were connecting with someone, it's as if the conversations just went sour. And again, if you were in a relationship, something may have happened where whatever was the dynamic between you and your partner just changed this particular week. High Priestess. Two of Swords, not engaging again. Not wanting to approach the issue either. Not really wanting to think about it. It's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn my brain off and not think about love. So can you tell me what exactly caused this energy overall? That's an interesting answer. The Nine of Cups. Okay, I think it's saying that you may have had a particular desire. You wanted this, and that was set in your mind, and you didn't get it. You didn't get it from your partner. You didn't get it from someone that you thought was a good prospect, or you didn't get a prospect at all, and the wish has basically been unfulfilled, and so you're just like, fuck it. I'm done for this week. I'm cool. Let's just watch some TV.